New Year almost. I'm out here. Oops. Hi, everybody. Oh, almost Happy New Year. December 31st. I can't quite figure out why it's coming in a little blurry today. Must be Mercury Retrograde is coming to an end. So I'm out here. Leslie build a plastic Zazoo Plazz. I wonder if I move this around. Why am I coming in so blurry? It's kind of weird. Oh, all the parties are happening in the neighborhood. I'm coming through kind of blurry. Can't quite figure it out. I don't know that I'm supposed to right now. It's kind of, yep, okay. Well, it's the best I can get it right now. It's kind of an eerie glow around me today. How are you? Yeah, so not much going on. The kids, oh, December 31st, 2023. It's about 9 o'clock, just after 9. 3 hours to go till midnight. I gotta go back home. The kids aren't there. They went out with their girlfriends. They're out, concerts. And the oldest one went to New Jersey to see his girlfriend. They're probably going to New York City tonight. It's not too far from here, a couple hours, 2 or 2.5 hours. Well, depends. You got to take the train from New Haven. That's what they usually do. She's at Yale, so, but she goes home. Now she's home in New Jersey, so they're probably gonna go in the city from New Jersey tonight, or maybe not tonight. Maybe they went in last night. But yeah, there's always part of me that thinks left over from the 80s or whatever, mid-90s, like the last time I went out New Year's Eve, I guess, before the kids, when we got married. There were a couple years when we first got married, and we'd go out, have dinner, and go dancing, and, nice place locally. But, it hasn't been in a long time. Hasn't been for a while that we even had people over. I still like to do that. But, my former spouse, and I'm still living at home. I got to find a place, which eludes me at the moment. Everything looks like blah, white, gray. Just here comes a plane. But anyway, I don't think I've ever really had to look for an apartment on my own. I mean, I bought my own condo when I was just, a year or two out of college. I never actually lived in college, but it was like roommates that already had a place, or we knew somebody, and there's a plane. Maybe what I'll do is just hit the road and see where I end up. Maybe I'll just take a plane. Headed in from Bradley Airport. Yeah, so it's, I guess I'm setting an intention for the year for, me to find, like, my best place. Because, right now, I'm dealing with the dregs of 2023. It smells like fried chicken in my house right now. I gotta go back and make my meat pies. I'm having dinner with my dad tomorrow at his place. He sends me a text. Please reply soon. I'm making the meal preparations for tomorrow. He said, because I make the meat pies every year, my French-Canadian meat pies. Nobody in my family makes these. My mom was the one, my Memere, and then my mom was the one who always made them, and now she's gone, so I'm still making the damn things. I usually make the meat the day before. It's like a mixed meat mixture, like with some baked potato in there and some, onions and stuff, spices. And then tomorrow, I just put them in a pie crust, and bake them. And then I'll go over to my dad's, and he's going to make the sides. But, it's a big deal for him. He's 86. My mom always did all that stuff. Ask him to make, some mashed turnips and a little, get a little coleslaw and some, a little cranberry relish for the side, because you need that, and ketchup. And he acts like it's, he's making the Last Supper. It's like a big deal for him. Oh, I'm going to make some cold slaw. He said cold slaw with a D instead of an E. That's my dad, you know. Ooh, so I bought him a bottle of wine. I'll go over with my pies and a bottle of wine, and usually he gets there's this place here in Connecticut called in Manchester, near where I live, Shady Glen, and they make it's like this dairy, you know, it's been around this little dairy like diner place, and it's been around since the 50s. You know, my parents went on their first date there, and then the car broke down, and this, you know, my dad's dad had to come, my grandfather had to come and pick them up, and that was their like first date story in the mid 50s or whatever. So this is where every holiday they make their own coleslaw, which is really finely chopped and it's kind of sweet. So it's a nice complement to the holiday, you know, foods. And so we always get that. And somebody over there, I don't really care. Yeah, it's probably going to be policing the lot over here at the school. I don't care. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm touching the fence on the side of my association. This is my safe space. So yeah, and then at Christmas time, Shady Glen, they make this holiday ice cream with cherries and fruit. It's like fruit cake, but it's ice cream. But it's like pink, and it's so good. And then you have to have it on like a brownie or something. Just a little decadence. So we have my meat pies to start the year, savory and then sweet. And, you know, it's special because that's what I want. I'm striving for my life to be more like it was when I was a kid, which was, you know, surrounded by things that are sacred to me, beautiful, you know, precious, music and art and things that soothe my soul, food, you know, the French things, the French things of my childhood. My mother was always, you know, we didn't have a lot of money, but, you know, they worked hard for the things they had, and there was love. There was always love put into things. You know, even if the family put her down or, you know, said, what's this? You know, made fun of her car and whatever. My mother had integrity. She knew that what she was doing was the best that she could do for her family, you know? And that was her gift. So that's why I'm out here freezing my butt off for my 8 followers. Hello. I hope you know, sometimes I come out here and I'm like, who the heck even cares if I still do this thing? It's been almost 4 years and I've got 8 followers. Well, clearly I'm not doing it for the accolades. Clearly it's feeding me on a whole other level, you know? So if you get this or not, if anybody watches this or not, I'll know that I've gotten this off my chest, whatever I have to say today. You know, if it helps somebody, you know, I think that, you know, when you speak your truth to the universe, somebody hears it, God hears it, you know, and I think that makes a difference. I hear it. And when you speak your truth to yourself and you witness it, then that goes out into the world. Whether anybody likes it on YouTube or Facebook or TikTok, and, you know, bing bong, ding dong, the witch is dead, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I think. And it's, you know, and then, given that it's New Year's Eve, I like at this time a year, I always start, you know, I looked at my scriptures today. The Holy Word, you know, it's good to reflect. And I reflect, you know, every day I get up and I read something. I read some holy book. I read, like, you know, Chinese or Buddhist or Christian, mostly Christian, because that's what I am. But, you know, I read something that inspires me. And then I bounce off that. During the day, I kind of keep it in the back of my mind, and I go, whether I'm posting on social media or what. And then I see how it's all tied together. You know, I've gotten beyond the facade of religion, because what happens is, I think that God means us to look at our own personal design. That means, either you study astrology or you study human design or any of these other methodologies for you to know yourself. That is the burden, that we bear. If you subscribe to a religion, it's easier because they do it for you. But you're not really growing spiritually, right? You're just going and parroting the words and listening to what they have to say, right? But you pay a price because you're not benefiting from talking to God directly, finding out your blueprint, your actual map that tells you what you're supposed to be doing, right? If you think just going to church, parroting words, and, going along with the program is getting you somewhere, it's not. People go their whole lives, birth to death, and never really get to know themselves, right? So that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm doing this, because people don't know, right? Anyway, like they're going to believe me, maybe. But whether you do or not, I don't care, because this is my truth that I've come to. Everyone else has their own truth, Maybe something I say will, set off a little bell and make somebody curious to find out, And that's all you need sometimes, is to find, and I've listened to a lot of people over the years. My mother was my greatest teacher, right? And she had various different, astrological teachers, spiritual teachers. They just show up. In my case, it was my mother. And, she taught me. I didn't have a regular mother like other kids. I had an astrologer for a mother. She used to, after dinner, she'd go and shut her door. God help you if you needed her for anything. Or I wanted to look at her books. She had those things. She wouldn't let, she put a hex on those. I thought I was going to get struck down if I looked at my mother's books. And then when she died, my dad gave me her tarot cards. That scared the crap out of me. I couldn't even look at those things. I pulled one card and it scared the crap out of me what came up. Because, if you know a little bit about those things, it's dangerous. Versus, knowing, she knew a lot. I only knew a little bit. So, but I feel things, With her, she had to know. She would just know. And then she knew a lot of stuff. But, I realized she wouldn't tell me things. So I had to go sneak around and find things out for myself. And it took me a long time. I mean, I'm 58. Still realizing how much I don't know. But I know more than I did when, back then. But, and for me, I learned by doing this stuff, right? By speaking, by writing. That's how I learn things. And I get intuition. I'm more of an emotional person than she was. So, and I'm into music. She wasn't into music, but I get messages in songs, GenX songs, all kinds of music. There's fireworks. So, yeah. So anyway, today is the feast. This is the Feast of the Holy Family, and that's Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, right? That's who, They're in Bethlehem and with the baby and all that, and it's the reading where they talk about Sarah and Abraham and how she had a baby and Isaac in her old age and all that. We all know these readings, but is it Sirach? God sets a father in honor over his children and a mother authority over her sons. Yeah, right. My sons. They don't even put their dishes in the dishwasher. Although, I gotta say, my youngest son, he scored in the gift department. He gave me, I should have brought it. He gave me a roach clip. It's an actual cockroach. Like with a clip, so you can clip it on stuff. It's like this big. I love that kid. and he gave me a pot holder that says, it's, one of those old-time moms, in, like June Cleaver. And she's got a big knife. She's in her little apron. She's like, watch out, I got a knife. Something like that. Oh, this is what my kid thinks of me. And then he bought me like a Scorpio blanket, cozy blanket with Scorpio on it. And what else did he get me? Oh, a coloring book. Nice coloring, like an adult coloring book. Joanne Bassford or Brasford or something like Bragford. Anyway, it's one of those really fancy ones that, I'm always afraid to, like, mar. Because it's so perfect. It's like inky drawings with the flowers and stuff. So I started off with the colored pencils, and then I said, they're kind of meh. So I ordered myself some of those nice rectangular point fine markers on Amazon that was recommended to use with that coloring book. And I got them. Amazon delivered them like a couple days ago. And I'm like loving my new markers. It's like I was, I'm 10 again, or 8. And I got a new coloring book, and I got new crayons, or new markers. Oh, makes me happy. Anyway, so that's what I got. And then I bought myself, for Christmas, I was at the bookstore anyway, so I got myself the Matthew Perry autobiography and the Dave Grohl one. So that one I hadn't started. I'm halfway through the Matthew Perry one already. It's going so fast, and I'm just like, my jaw hit the ground. But some of the things that he says in that book, were things that they actually, discovered. I won't say exactly, but how he died and everything. And it's chilling. It's just chilling hearing his words, reading his words, But it's something I do to honor his memory now that, this year he passed and everything. And I still can't believe it, but in honor of, it's a day, usually New Year's Eve, I think about celebrities who've passed in the year. And, I think about my dreams and things that I wanted to accomplish. Did I do those things? I'm pretty happy with what I accomplished this year. Is pretty much what I set out. And some other things as a bonus. I mean, way beyond what I thought. So, why won't next year be even better? That's the way I think. So, we take it, you just keep going, and sometimes I look around me and I go, it's frustrating, sometimes I start to get a little, a little bit, why am I doing this? But, then I just go for a walk outside, and I have a good meal, I work out, I manage it, and I keep my energy up. That's the best we can do, I surround myself with people online and who bring me up, and I listen to music that uplifts me, and I make plans, and that's how I roll. So that's what I do. And I pay attention during those times when I feel like, I don't know, like a little bit of, everybody feels that way sometimes. A little discouraged, lonely, like alone. I sit down and I count my blessings. And it raises you instantly, Just start thinking of all the things that you're grateful for. Instead of thinking of all the things that you don't have. Be grateful for all the wonderful things that you do have. I think of 3 things, every time I sit down to eat a meal or something. It doesn't have to be grace per se, but I go, thank you for this beautiful evening. Thank you for this delicious food. Thank you for my breath, And man, does it work. So that's my little gift to you. If you're looking for ways to instantly uplift yourself. So And that's what the readings also say today. Blessed are those who fear the Lord and walk in his ways. That's what it means. Fearing the Lord doesn't mean like fear, in a third dimensional matrix earthly way. It means respect, right? Fear is walking in the ways of the Lord. In other words, giving, being grateful, walking at a higher level than earth, right? Walk in his ways. Think as God, strive to be better than you are today, to be more godlike, right? Whatever that means to you. Jesus was sent to show us how to walk in God's ways, how to be that person, So God, and we believe God keeps his promises, right? But you have to, clean up your mess. That's what I strive to do. I tell my boys, whatever you're doing, clean up your mess, right? You don't have to clean up everybody else. Clean up, be responsible for yourself, right? If you're at odds with somebody, make up with them, forgive them, be peaceful, be thankful, be humble, right? Don't put yourself out as better than anybody. You're not. We're all here together. Some people might be vibrating at a higher level than you. Some might be lower. You are where you are. So the people you're going to meet are, the people at your level. And then when you elevate your energy, then all that stuff falls away. It doesn't even matter anymore. And you'll know because you'll be meeting different people, right? So you kind of have to behave, walk in God's ways. You have to behave like where you want to be. Kind of hard to explain, but that's my little thought. So yeah, the Holy Family, right? Jesus and Mary and Joseph brought Jesus to Jerusalem to meet with Simeon and Anna, who were, it's like when you go, we Catholics, we have our baptism as babies, but he went to the temple in Jerusalem. And this guy, Simeon, he's a prophet. Anna, they're prophets. And he looked at him and he said, he says, oh, okay, God, you can take me now because I've seen the Lord. I've seen the promised one, the one, So I thought, that's okay. That's where I sprang for my song of the week here. So In Your Eyes, Peter Gabriel, 1986. Fall of 86, September. Let's see, it was my senior year in college, I guess. It was the fall I turned 21. That was from his album So, second single from number 1 in the U.S. Billboard, September 13th of 86. It got to number 26 in November of that year, and it was in the movie Say Anything. That was pretty good. It went gold, certified gold in 2005. But, what I remember about this song, the light, the heat, it's that guy, Yusu, and then, anyway, it's an African influence. And at the end, which is awesome. And that just kind of happened. They were just jamming, and that, that African flavor just kind of came, it's just sort of came into it. But what I was thinking was, 1985, I went to Spain and I was in Barcelona and I saw this magnificent cathedral, which has never been finished. The only times they paused the construction was for the Spanish Civil War and during COVID. But it's been under construction since Gaudi, the park Gaudi. I was in that park. He's an architect. He was an architect. And there's this whole park that he designed, and it's kind of like a Gothic kind of church, but the park is more like mosaics, I have pictures of myself in there. Very cool. So I went with all these other kids from different colleges. We went to Barcelona. We stayed in, youth hostels, and we just, toured all these places. And we were in the Sagrada. We were at the Sagrada Familia, which means the Holy Family. And it's got some kind of, spires. It's got stuff on it now that it didn't have when I was there. And there's like all these fancy, there's meanings to it. It's a dedication to the apostles, to the family, to Jesus, to Mary and Joseph. And I thought that was kind of appropriate to talk about today. Because in Peter Gabriel's song, he talks about, my eyes, the facade will burn, right? The facade is like the church, right? I get so lost sometimes. This moment keeps slipping away. Isn't that perfect for New Year's Eve? And he talks about the doorway to 1,000 churches, right? So Peter Gabriel had put some of this stuff in another song called Sagrada, dedicated to this church in Spain. But they scrapped the song. But some of the lyrics made their way into In Your Eyes, right? And so it's very meaningful because it's like what Simeon says, the eyes, oh, my eyes have seen, God now. So the song is that it's sort of the flip side of romantic love versus love for God. And they're, two sides of the same coin there. Yeah, it's very interesting, the ambiguity of the love, romantic love and the love, So, the sort of, human urge to be known, to know, to merge, It's got candles, the light, the heat. It's knowing God through knowing another person, right? And it's powerful stuff, It's very, very, but, this talk of the facade, right? The ego, the, tearing down. There was arson at that church. But, so much waste to see the light in it. It's almost Neptunian, in the video. Sort of that fuzzy. Neptune's in Pisces. Saturn is in Pisces. And so there's this aspect that I'm definitely feeling, this, Neptunian sort of haze. It's the outer planets really get us sometimes. But a light, being a light, it means a light for the revelation of the a light of revelation for the Gentiles. Jesus was that light, right? And it's on to us, I think, to be that light for the world, to shine. So that the light on the hill, right? So others can be inspired. That's what I feel like my calling is anyway. This is can be perceived to be a very dark world, but not if we really know, if we see with our heart. So, I'm gonna go make my meat pies. I made some buffalo chicken chili last night. I'll just have that for my dinner. I make the meat the night before, and it's, it's what I do to connect with my ancestors. Sun's in my 4th house of my IC. Your IC is is opposite your midheaven in your chart. Usually the 4th house is where you connect with your ancestors, where you came from. So it just for me happens to be on New Year's that I'm in that. So, that's what I do. At least this year. Maybe next year. Maybe I won't make them. I don't know. But for today, that's where I am. So I'm honoring that. And I honor you. Wishing you a very happy New Year. And wishing you much health, happiness, prosperity, all good things, inspiration. And may your fondest dreams come to reality. I'll see you next week, and we'll go from there. Take care, and all the best in 2024. See ya. Zazoo Plazz out.